Hello, and welcome to another day of TA the Degen Way. And yes, you are reading that title correctly. And it may be time for a change of mind. So here we're looking at my TradingView idea page, crypto file 622 if you want to join. If you like the content, I encourage you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join our Discord and participate in our daily TA session at 8 p.m. U.S. Central. Oh, but why the flip-flop? Well, the flip-flop hasn't occurred completely yet. If you read the writing on there, you will see why. But I do see some things flashing on these charts that may be signaling a continuation. What I want to do is hop right into the chart and let's mark it up quick just to show you what it is that I'm looking at and what it is that I'm thinking. May be signaling a continuation. Now, I have had some extremely bearish sentiment on the macro, and I do expect a very serious correction in the crypto market, either this cycle or next cycle. I'm open to both. I do think it's due. Bitcoin's 13 years old. The relative strength of buyers has been decreasing over time. Money flow has been decreasing over time. It's 13 years old and up 69 million%. I mean, if you're not satisfied with 69 million%, well, I guess I just don't know what to tell you. But the first thing I'm looking at right off the bat, let's grab a trend line here and let's pull this up here. So you can see we're approaching this trend line. Price has come down below the 200 EMA, came below the 200 EMA, it came below the 200 EMA, it came below the 200 EMA. So when the crypto bros are talking about the cycle and how it works, that is how it has worked. And it is reasonable to expect that to continue until there's reasons for it not to. Are there reasons on this chart for it not to? Yes. There's massive high time frame divergence. There's a yearly engulfing candle to the downside. There's a macro double top for the first time. You know, there's some things going on there. Time and price on the macro scale, R square, price has come up, it's rounded over, and now we're at the flat part. And, you know, there is room for one more push to the upside. If we were to draw this curve, you know, I mean, I'm looking at about 125 to maybe 150K max. You know, if we were to take this entire cycle here and expand it by, you know, 1.5, that gives us 147K. I don't know that we'll get quite that far, but historically, I mean, that has been, you know, kind of the way a lot of markets work and kind of the way that this market works. I'm kind of more in the 125 to 135 area. But we are approaching this trend line, and if we break this trend line, I do expect that price will come down very hard and spend a long time down in these areas. Well, why? Well, because you know, the amount of liquidity available is used up. People just don't have the money. They don't have the fuel in the tank to keep buying, and the people who do and wanted to buy, well, they already bought it. You know, I mean, if that's the case, well, then we won't continue to the upside. But what am I seeing on this chart, and what have I been saying in these analysis videos? That each step along the way, that we need to consider what is going on with price and the momentum that, you know, would signal some kind of a reversal. So here we're approaching a known trend line. I mean, it's correlating with these two lows, and I'm pulling this from the COVID low. We have broken, you know, we came below the 200 EMA. We've spent more time below the 200 EMA than ever before. which may be absorbing some of this bearish sentiment that has been well deserved. And the pencil neck haters that claim that it's unfounded to take any short trades in this asset are just, you know, mentally defective in that department, or blind by their own desires and greed for price to go up. And price may very well go up, and I am starting to lean slightly to the bullish side, because my original thoughts going into this low is that we would see one more cycle to the upside. But looking at this trend and how weak it is, how long it took, how much time we spent below, to seeing an obvious rejection here worthy of shorting, a short that's been in profit for 3 months, you know, and with a little bit of leverage, the Bitcoin short is up, you know, 200 some odd percent. Well, what do we got here? We have price coming down. We have a green weekly candle. We have our crossover that has not confirmed but has been flashing on and off over the last day or two, that this is pinching off, rolling to the upside. Money flow is getting really close to the green. You know, we could just kind of continue on here a little bit and begin to push to the upside. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, what am I looking at for correlations here to say that, okay, well, I mean, when would we expect this retrace, this trend, has obviously, or this swing, here's swing low, here's swing high, has obviously put in some kind of a top. So we would expect a retrace of at least a third, if not 50%. We haven't retraced, I'm going to flip this over, we haven't retraced that full 50%, but we have retraced a third, which, you know, is reasonable. You know, I mean, that could be it. We retrace a third, we're at the trend line, we're sitting on the 200 weekly EMA, retesting it for the second time. We're at a known high time frame support. Here's your lower price range. We broke above it, we retested it, said no to going down. We came up, said no to going up, and we came down, and we are currently, look like, see now this green dot's gone. You know, it's flashing on and off. This is a 50-50. We could continue here to the side for a little more and break to the upside. We could lose this, and some of this macro bearishness could certainly play out. We don't know that. All we can do is follow the action. But here's what I see. I see we've retraced a third. Well, that's satisfactory. You know, I mean, 50 to 61.8 would be better, or 786 would be even better, and then get some bullish action. But what do we got down here? This weekly momentum wave is starting to pinch off. It was green when I started the stream, and you know, there's an argument to be made that this is the regular old Joe cycle getting ready to play out. That could be the case. Here's the last cycle. It came up, and where would you expect it to bottom? Right here, where it did bottom. The only reason I have any extra bearish sentiment is because of the mega macro over this whole 13-year span. It doesn't have to play out this cycle. It could play out next cycle. Could never play out for that matter. These are just projections. You have to follow the action, and I'm still short at 50%, but I have taken the portion that I've closed and I've entered it to the long side with a stop loss and validation area below this white trend line. If we get below this, well, then I'm going to be looking for a retest of it and looking for some serious short action. You know, time and price were square and we rejected. That's exactly what happened. Now the next question is how far does it come down before the momentum starts to roll over to the upside? And when it does, how far does it carry us? Is it going to carry us up to here and then bust through this and go down? That might happen. Well, this is a worthy long trade. Why wouldn't it be? Put in this right shoulder. If the momentum pushes us up and we break above here and retest it, I mean, we're off to the races, folks. But what do I see that looks bullish? Well, we're at this known trend line. We're retesting the 200 EMA. This crossover has been flashing green. Volume, I've noticed, if we pop out to the monthly and we look at our volume, look at how low our volume is. It is September 22nd, which means we've only got about, 10 days left, about a week left. And look at how low this volume is. And if we snap a line here, which it's not going to let me, but let's just scroll this over and find any spot on this chart where volume has been this low. It has not been this low since 2016. Just look at this volume. Here's the volume bar right there. The last time it was this low is way back here. Oh, and then what happened? Mega pump. Can it happen? Sure can. Sure can. I still see this. It, but we're talking, the 100 some odd K area. Maybe just a liquidity grab. Maybe this is Bitcoin's new mega macro true range, and we're sitting in it right now, and we just bounce around and, come down or come up, or maybe we just stay in it. Unknowable. But why not remain seriously, insanely bearish? Well, you can see right here. We are, but we're also getting this this red dot on the monthly where this is crossing over and closing. Well, that's the same thing that we got here. Not because of the COVID dip, by the way. That is what we got when our bull run came down. It broke trend. It retraced 78.6%, came down. It found support at a 50% retrace of this trend. And what did we get? We got a red dot on the monthly, but it pinched off and curled to the upside quite quickly, and boom, what do we got? Momentum rolled over to the downside. The monthly has come up. It's trying to print a red dot right now, and hopefully momentum rolls over to the upside. That very well could play out. So what are we looking at here? We're looking for price to stay above this trend. So currently, this could just drop all the way down to 23,325, and bounce and still be above this trend. We could trend sideways, hold this level, and continue on, But if we can stay above this trend, I'm willing to start averaging into this to the long side until it's invalidated by going under this white trend line. Well, why? Because going back to the weekly, which I find to be the most powerful long-term time frame. The monthly sounds nice. It is longer, but Bitcoin's not really old enough for the monthly. There's not much data on there to really show us how price and time have responded, and it is time. You can see this trend here on the weekly. If we pull this down, has broken. So you would expect a break of it, a retrace if we're going to be bullish still, and then a pump, maybe into a right shoulder, maybe break the highs this time. And if the cycle plays out like normal, ooh, look at that, we got our green dot again, flashing on and off, on and off, on and off. So if we can break 28K, which would be, this bottom part of the price action range here, that is bullish. It just is. So, I'm looking at this trend, and if we were to, what kind of targets for a continuation would we be looking at if we can hold this trend and push to the upside? You can see the perfect correlation with these lows to that COVID low. That's 3 hits on this trend line, making it valid. It has not broke yet. Just because there's a bearish retrace doesn't mean it has to dump to 8K, 10K, 12K, 3K. Certainly can. That hasn't happened yet either. Now, I was expecting another hard, fast drop before this momentum closed. Well, it hasn't happened. If it had, price would be down here. This pinches off, the momentum rolls to the upside. Well, now it has all this to break through. Well, if we pump from here, it only has this to break through. It's already pecked away at it quite a bit. We could break these levels here at the 30K range, 32 area. We could break that and push through, retest it, and continue on. And that's what I want to talk about. Is it time to be bullish? Short term, I'm saying yes. Sure is. Sure is. There's some bullish action on here, and as soon as we crack 28K, if it can, if it's real, there's no way to predict or forecast the future, but we can take into consideration the probability of what will occur based off of the action and what is the most important thing, which is time. This says it is time, you know. So we'll just have to see what happens here, but let's take some projections. I'm gonna delete everything here. Well, not everything, but I want to get some of this old discussion stuff off here. Let's take our entire swing to the downside and let's look at how far we've retraced. So to this last unbroken high, we've retraced. Oh, we gotta flip this over because now we're going to the upside. Oh, I have a dog barking. I apologize. We've retraced, the 61.8, but if we come up here to our true high, we have retraced, 50% on the log scale. We're 61.8. It's at the 38 area. Previously, we've retraced typically to the 786, which is 49,850. Is there anything else that we can find? I mean, let's say that we develop some kind of ascending channel to the upside, and we can take this trend line and copy it. If we were to, here's where our sideways action began, right here. There's even an argument to say that it began back there. We can see kind of back here how it correlates with some of this past price action here. We could very easily come up here, and maybe this takes some time, and maybe we get up here. So here's our golden pocket area right here. We haven't really made it into there yet. If we were to take our, so here, let's just mark out this 618. Let's mark out our 786, which are also correlating with the bottom of this range here, these lows, these highs, or 786 correlating with these highs, these lows. They're legitimate time frames outside of Fibonacci, this other business. And now let's take our current swing and let's expand it by 1.5 to 1.618. Oh, what do you get? Here's the 1.5, 1.618 area. It's correlating with the top of this channel. Let's pull this down and let's only consider our current action. Maybe we could pull it all the way down there if we wanted to, which would kind of correlate with some of these close prices down here. Let's just bring it down to the first high on there. I mean, this is still, maybe it's a long drawn out. But there's still some room for some upward action here, and I just wanted to point that out and give some bullish sentiment back into the market, maybe coming in. We broke this trend on the weekly. We're retesting it currently, and possibly will push to the upside. Now, will we get up here? I have no idea. What are we looking for? How far does this actually carry us? Does it carry us up into a right shoulder, or does it carry us up to the 50K area, or the 38,750 area? Well, let's see. And I hope it goes up. I sure do. There's a lot more money to be made on the upside. Your gains are exponential. So I hope it was a help and a blessing to you. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe. Join us on Discord. We're doing this every day in a much less formal manner, going through all kinds of altcoins and whatnot. You're free to ask any questions. You want to learn how to analyze these markets and keep an open mind, like open to a serious correction here, open to a reversal to the upside here, not this closed-minded business that I find oftentimes on YouTube, where, I mean, price is only going one way forever. It's just not the case. In these hardened price projections that nobody can make, they're just dishonest. But until next time, trade well.